Hey everybody, welcome to TnSportsChat presented by Lehigh Valley Health Network. I'm Patrick Matsinko along with Emmett McCall. Busy week, busy time. We're really coming down the home stretch here.
Right, we've got everything from basketball wrapping up with some all-state selections. We've got track, which is already a couple days away from getting into our league meets, and then baseball, softball coming down the home stretch. We got a little tennis, got a little lacrosse, a little everything for people today.
Yeah, like the weather, I guess it's really heating up. But I've been saving that for about the last couple of months, as it felt like.
Yeah, just finally got a chance to use that.
But as far as basketball, last week we had 3 area girls recognized as all-state players: Jim Thorpe's Kaylee Kovac, Lee Heighton's Skyland Faust, and Weatherly's Emily Zoshin. This week we had Marion's Tyler Fritz, our Player of the Year, and Panther Valley's Rennie Figueroa, also recognized as all-state basketball players.
Both made the Class 2A team. Fritz was a second-team choice. Rennie was a third-team choice. Both had great seasons. You got a chance to talk to both of their coaches this week for the story.
Yeah, and again, I think just talking to head coach John Patton of Marion and Pat Crampsey of Panther Valley, both just really stressed just the growth, the progress that they've made from with Tyler from his freshman year to his sophomore year, and with Rennie from his freshman to sophomore now to junior season, and you could see it in the stat line for both of those kids, just how much they've really stepped up their games.
Right, and as you just said, both underclassmen, so both are back. You got both all-state players coming back next year, so both of those teams will have something to build on. Both Tyler and Rennie scored points. They also were their team leaders in assists.
Yeah.
And both of them, even for their height, both had some pretty good rebound numbers too. So and the one thing I noticed when their coaches were talking about them, they both talked about how they kind of carried their teams this year, and helped them, have successful seasons.
And elevated those around them too.
Right, which is the sign. They always say the sign of good players. You make the players around you better, and I think they both did that this year.
Absolutely. So a lot to look forward to on that front, even for next year. But right now we are definitely in the middle of it with baseball, softball. We have several teams in baseball and softball that have already clinched district playoff berths, and we have several others that are really just right on the doorstep of getting in.
And we also some league races that have heated up. We have the Schuylkill League baseball, Colonial League baseball. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 teams even all around the same record in both of these leagues. So it should be an exciting week and a half. Regular season in baseball, softball wraps up next week. So there's not much time. We're coming down the home stretch.
Yeah, and you look at baseball, you're thinking about, again, Schuylkill League, and even, just whether it's, that division race, or in Class 2A, you have Marion and Panther Valley. Marion's at 9 wins, Panther Valley's at 7 wins.
It doesn't matter the sport. The two teams had another classic baseball game this
You can't
week.
script that stuff.
No, tied 4-4 going into the 7th inning, and then Marion comes up and scores 6 times in the top of the 7th to take what looks like a comfortable lead.
Yeah.
Panther Valley answers with 7 in the bottom of the frame, pulls out a dramatic comeback victory. And what that win did, now going into the last week of the season, we have Marion and Shenandoah, both are 5-5 in Division III. Panther Valley a game back at 4-6. So totally up for grabs now, that division race.
And it's huge, absolutely huge. That was big in a lot of ways for the Panthers, and obviously we'll see how things shake out at the end of the year. But then in 3A we have Palmerton in with 10 wins. Tamaqua got a big win against Pottsville just on Wednesday, now at 7-6, and another team that's right on the edge there.
Right, of qualifying for districts. They're also right kind of on the bubble of the Schuylkill League wild card spot for the league playoffs, so that was a huge win for them. Another 7th inning rally there. I believe it was Nate Boyle had a big hit. Thad Zuber had an infield single that eventually scored Boyle with the winning run, so they beat Pottsville, and every
Pottsville
game
was up
so
early in that
important.
one.
5-0 lead in the first inning. So and at this time of year, you're trying to get to that 10-win mark to qualify for districts. All the wins are big.
And in the Colonial League, you have Northwestern, that's 12-5 overall, looking good in the district standings. Played a lot of really close games, but still in really good position for league and obviously district playoff berths.
And looking at the Colonial League race, we have
Palisades playing really
Palisades and Saucon both have 3 losses. Both are playing well. Both have really good pitching. They're leading the league, but you have Northwestern, Palmerton, Saucon Valley, and Salisbury and Notre Dame all with 5 losses. So in that next tier there, that's going to be a wide open playoff. 6 teams make the playoffs. That'll start in a little over a week. So that's really looking good too.
And you think even about years past where, Notre Dame last year and Salisbury in previous years, those are teams that are kind of established programs in baseball in the Colonial League that have had success, that have had really good runs of success over the last couple of years and produced some really good players. So
right, and Northwestern and Palmerton also the last couple of years have been right there with that too. And
interesting dynamic.
Right. So
and then in Class 6A, Pleasant Valley just dropped a tough one to Pocono Mountain East on Wednesday, 11-0. The Bears are at 9-6 overall. Looking good to eventually get into districts and, seeing what happens there in the Mountain Division of the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference.
Yeah, it looks like 8 teams make the league playoffs in the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference, so I think Pleasant Valley has a good chance to get into the league playoffs, and they're only 1 win away from clinching a district.
Yeah, and on the softball front, we have several teams that are already in, and again, several teams that are close. We have Northwestern and Tamaqua in Class 4A. Tamaqua's got 12 wins, Northwestern with 10, both in. And then in Class 3A, we have Northern Lehigh with 13. We have Palmerton with 10, and Marion is on the cusp of it with 9 wins.
So, and all 5 of those teams have played really, really good softball this year, and all are all, none of them are a surprise. They've all been really good the last few years.
Exactly. In addition to a lot of our baseball and softball races that are really kind of coming down to the wire with a lot of big games coming up, a lot of big games, kind of in the rearview mirror for a lot of our teams. We also have some track action that has been, it's I guess maybe not a surprise to see the Jim Thorpe boys again doing well, and this week they clinched another Division I title with a win over Blue Mountain.
Yeah, Coach Frank Miller's done a wonderful job with the program. The girls finished second in the division, but the boys, I believe now, have them 23-1 in dual meets in the last 4 years. That's crazy
it's
successful. Finished 6-0 this year. Beat Blue Mountain 86-64 on Wednesday night to wrap up the Division I crown. Blue Mountain only had 1 loss coming in, so that was basically for the league championship. And Jim Thorpe's been getting plenty of contributions from a lot of great athletes this year on that track team.
Yeah, you look at Sammy Hydro won 2 events, the 800 and the 1600 against Blue Mountain, but Nujai Walcott, Jaron Geisinger, Jeffrey Gorman, they've had so many kids. And then you think about the throwing events. You have William Munson, you have Jason Scott, and then you have Justin St. Hill. You have all these guys that are just giving them so much balance and depth in track events, in field events, in throwing events. It's why that they've been successful, is that they have that depth.
And the depth is huge when you're talking dual meets and winning into our league championships, but they also have the star factor.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to see that put to the test this coming week. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the Schuylkill League will have their all-league meet at Blue Mountain. First time they're going to the two-day
Should be
format.
Interesting. Yeah,
and the same day, Tuesday and Wednesday, down at Whitehall High School, we'll have the Colonial League and the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference down at Whitehall.
Yeah, and those are fun days. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be at the Colonial League EPC meet both days, and it's that nice kind of first real taste of getting to see some of these kids, against some of the competition that they're going to be seeing again the next week at districts, and then seeing them put up big performances kind of on that first stop on the road, or I'm
Right.
sorry, it's the trip to ship.
Yeah.
During wrestling, it's the road to Hershey, but for track, it's the trip to ship. But it's great to see kids really, kind of peak at this time of the year. And we saw it last year. We had a lot of kids do really well. Pleasant Valley's Mike Mitchell, Northern Lehigh's Jill Olawine, really kind of started their postseasons with a bang at the league meet.
Right.
And, it's not going to be a surprise to see some big performances again next week.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have good weather like we're having right now for those meets. But we have plenty of area track and field athletes who have put up some really
it's
good
gonna
numbers
be
this
mega.
year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Sam Mott is going to be up at Blue Mountain for us the 2 days doing the Schuylkill League meet. Like you said, you'll be down at Whitehall. Should be good times.
Yeah, it'll be wild, but it'll be fun. And then on the tennis front, we're now kind of coming into like the third leg here of the postseason, where we've gone through the singles tournament. We just are coming off of the team tournament this week, where we had Palmerton and Pleasant Valley qualify. Next week, we have the doubles tournament.
Right, and that's going to be same format at Lehigh for the first 2 rounds Monday. Goes to Saucon Valley for the quarters and semis on Tuesday, and then the championship is back at Lehigh on Thursday. We have 6 teams from the Times News area are participating in that. We have Pleasant Valley has a couple of teams, and for doubles, what they do is normally a team's top doubles team during the season gets in, and then a lot of times they'll also match up their 1 and 2 singles players to form a team. So if you're lucky enough to get 2 teams in, you'll see some different kids that you don't normally see in that doubles group.
And just thinking about Pleasant Valley, top 2 singles. Naja Francis had been the Bears' number 2 singles player. Jake Ammerman kind of stepped up,
Kind of bumped into the lineup
just
late in the season.
But also, again, our player of the year. But you get to see Josh Schaffner and Jake Ammerman, the 8th seed in the 3A tournament.
Yeah, it's
for the
nice
Bears.
that they got a seed, and that they are both really good tennis players, and they can make some noise in that. There's a decent chance that they could make it to the second day, win a couple of times on Monday, and get to the second day on Tuesday.
And I think, if anything, they're both motivated coming out of the singles tournament, where they both got to the second round, played those close matches, went 3 sets. I think that's a pairing of kids that really wants to make some noise.
And doubles is funny because during the regular season, if you're not familiar with high school tennis, your top players probably only get to play doubles with each other 1, 2, 3 times during the season, because you only use that number 1 doubles pairing of your top 2 singles players if the match is 3-3 and going to a 7th point in the EPC. Colonial League and Schuylkill League don't use it at all. Well, not Schuylkill League, but our independent Schuylkill teams don't use those 1 singles player, 2 single players playing with each other at all during the regular season. So, Pleasant Valley's 8th seed, but all 8 seeded teams, it's kind of a toss-up.
Oh yeah, you don't really know.
Right. And singles, you kind of know who beat who during the regular season, but these guys have never played. I think the Bears can make a good run.
And you think about even back to during the girls' season with Masani Francis and Haley White of Pleasant Valley, which another team that came together and made some noise.
Made it to the second day,
yeah. So the Bears also had Jason Ellish and Brian Cagle qualify. On the AA side, Jim Thorpe has 2 teams, Matt Whitcomb and Connor Rogers, and Raymond O'Neill and Emilio Mercado. Lee Heighton's Mara Phelan and Olivia Frent also qualified, and as did Palmerton's Nate Andrus and Mattis Vilhoon.
That's a team I think could be a sleeper. Yeah, I think that could be a sleeper team. They didn't get a seed. But they could cause trouble. Both had really good seasons singles wise, and I think they could make some noise in the AA tournament.
So that'll be fun. I think maybe we'll have some teams turn some heads down there and play pretty well. So that'll be next week.
And also want to talk a little bit about lacrosse, something we haven't had a chance to talk about much because we only have 1 school currently in our coverage area, Pleasant Valley, that has a lacrosse team. Next year, Northwestern will be fielding a lacrosse team, and it's a sport that's building.
Oh yeah.
Rich Strack has a good feature story story in Thursday's Times News. You should check it out about Pleasant Valley's girls lacrosse team and the improvement they made. They're in their third year of varsity competition right now. They're currently right on the bubble of qualifying for district playoffs.
Awesome.
Right, they have 4 games left. They need to win 2 of the 4, be the first time in the school history that they've made districts. They're coming in hot. They've won 6 out of the last 7 matches. We have a couple of 100-goal career scorers already. Savannah Bowman has 140 goals in her career. She's a senior. She's been playing all 3 years. The team leading scorer this year, Juliana Lopez, she has 124 career goals already, and she leads them in scoring this year. Like I said, only a sophomore. So there's some big things ahead for
the future is bright.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously they've been building to this, and it would be a tremendous step for the program, and certainly a great accomplishment to see them, get into a district playoff, get a district playoff spot, and see what they can do. So, yeah, so we're all over the place.
Right, we're getting postseason form here, and it's going to be exciting. Last couple of weeks, our next couple of weeks, we got end of the regular season, we got beginning of postseason. You'll be at track. We're going to have league playoffs in baseball, softball coming up soon. So a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, so it should be fun. Thank you again for tuning in to TN Sports Chat presented by Lehigh Valley Health Network. For Emmett McCall, I'm Patrick Matsinko. We'll see you again next week.